Welcome guys! I'm Sebastian and in today's video, bali manonood tayo ng interview netong pinagmulan ng Facebook post na to. Medyo naging semi-viral siya. Bali sinabi siya ni Dominic Ligot sa isang interview sa Billionaire News Channel. Bali ang sinabi niya kasi, one of the jobs that is already getting disrupted is software developer. Big words! Bago tayo magpa-rage bait, gusto ko muna siguro panoorin yung pinakahuli interview nitong pinagmula nung sinabi niya. Siyempre, para kumpleto, para kung mambash man tayo, dapat maalam tayo. Dahil dyan, actually aware si Dominic Ligot na maraming nag-react na hindi maganda sa sinabi niya. Siyempre, out of context, di ba? And nag-post siya ron. At yung sinabi niya, bali ang Facebook niya is Doc Ligot. Siguro, follow niya. Shoutout kay Doc Ligot. Yeah. Ang sabi niya, me, software devs getting disrupted by AI. Everyone, di ba? Ibig sabihin, aware siya na madami nagalit sa kanya. And bilang software developer, napaganto ako, syempre, na-shock din ako. Gusto ko rin talaga malaman kung ano yung pinagmulan or ano yung parang hugot. And actually, dito sa post niya, marami lang natawa. Syempre, siguro mga friends niya yung nag-comment. Yung whole interview, makikita natin sa Billionaire News Channel YouTube. And hindi naman siya mahirap hanapin since 4 days ago lang naman yung since na-release to. Ayan, bali ang title ng video is Agentic AI in PH Workplaces. Again, hindi ko pa napapanood to, papanoorin natin to sabay. And ayun na, simulan na natin. By the way guys, hindi ko pala mapu-full screen kasi naglolo ko yung OBS ko pag sa full screen eh. Kaya ganito lang muna.
Good morning, I'm Robert Tan. From your wallet to the wider economy, join us as we follow the money. Artificial intelligence is no longer waiting for instructions. It acts. Filipino businesses are adopting it faster than regulators can keep up. And with Claude, DeepSeek, and Gemini rapidly closing in on ChatGPT, the AI race is no longer just about who spends the most.
Narinig nyo? Claude, DeepSeek, Gemini, malapit na daw maabutan yung ChatGPT ng OpenAI. Kung aware lang kayo sa mga nangyari sa mga models na yan this week, nakita nyo naman kung paano nilang paso ng bagong model ng OpenAI, yung mga models ng mga ibang kumpanya. Kung alam nyo lang, nirelease na pala yung ChatGPT 5.6 Sol. Etong model na to, kasing lakas siya ng Fable 5 ng Claude or ng Anthropic, pero half siya ng presyo. Ganun siya ka-efficient and mas mura talaga siya. Kung aware kayo kung mga naka-ChatGPT subscriber kayo, ako naka-ChatGPT Plus na ako. Sunod-sunod yung rate limits reset na binibigay sa amin ng OpenAI, katontuwa ako eh. Talagang pinapatest talaga nila yung 5.6. And actually, tinalo rin ng 5.6 sa mga ibang metrics yung Fable eh. Ito, di ba yung output tokens, nakita nyo dito. Actually, sayang, wala yung pinikumpara nila sa Fable. Pero ayun, anyway. Ano to, sige, sabihin natin 4 days ago. Pero iwan na yung mga ibang model ng ChatGPT, ng ibang kumpanya sa ChatGPT ngayon eh.
Today we ask who wins, who's exposed, and who gets left behind in the Philippines AI reckoning. And joining us this morning is Dominic Ligot, Director for AI Ethics and Data Governance of the Philippine AI Business Association. Good morning, Doc, and welcome to Follow the Money.
Thanks for having me, Robert.
Thanks for joining us this morning, Doc. Now, Doc, let's talk about your research. Your own research says that the Philippines has crossed a critical threshold now in enterprise AI adoption, but you're clear that adoption doesn't really equal value. Now, so are we seeing that companies are buying AI? Do they actually work for it?
I think one thing to think about is the adoption of AI started out on an individual level. I'm sure everyone by this time has their own personal ChatGPT, and you mentioned Claude. But when you move it to the enterprise, so many other rules apply, integration,
Yes.
privacy. And of course, let's face it, if your company is more than 10 years old at least, chances are none of your systems naturally talk to AI. So that's what's holding back kind of the value from.
Interesting, no? Kasi kung tatanungin nyo kung sino yung may mga subscription sa mga AI, halos lahat ng mga matatanong nyo yan, yung mga sasagot na meron sila, kung hindi sa tech nagtatrabaho, sa mga blue collar, hindi, manual. Bobo puta, white collar pala. Di ba? Yung mga white collar jobs, yung mga non-physical labor, wala pa kayong nakita na or students din pala, no? May mga students din na nakasubscribe sa mga AI subscription. Pero kung may tatanungin kayo madalas dyan, nasa white collar jobs. And totoo rin yung sinabi na hindi lahat ng mga kumpanya na nag-a-adapt ng AI heavily sa business nila is kumikita or may value may value or may value na nabibigay talaga sa kumpanya nila eh. Kasi interesting eh. For example, kung yung company mo or example ko na ng company namin, yung pinagtatrabuhan ko ngayon, heavily integrated talaga AI sa workflow namin eh. Pero mahirap siyang parang bigyan ng currency kung totoo ba na nakakapagbigay yung AI ng totoong value or totoong monetary return or profit sa kumpanya. Kasi di ba, kunyari, kung ang business model mo ship na software, magbenta ng software services sa mga tao, tapos kikita ka ron pag mas maraming, sundan niyo ako sa Tatka, kikita ka ron kapag mas marami kang customer na nagsasubscribe o nag-a-avail ng serbisyo mo, ng software mo. Ayun yung isang way para kumita yung business mo. Or, kahit mag-stop yung users mo or yung mga incoming new customers mo sa software services mo, pero bawas yung mga tao na pinapasahod mo, di ba, kikita ka rin doon. Kung yung AI is, kunyari, pinalitan mo yung 3 mong programmer na sumasahod ng tiki 100,000, then pinalitan mo ng AI, tas yung cost ng AI mo is like 50,000 lang. Di ba, nakatipid ka ng 250,000 every month. Kung ganun talaga yung nangyayari. Wah, wala lang.
From these technologies.
So where's the gap there in terms of just adopting AI in terms of just in creating value in the companies that uses it?
Well, the biggest gap, ironically, is cost. To an individual.
Di ba? Cost, di ba? Punto agad. Ayun nga eh. Kung yung presyo ng AI, pag-subscribe mo sa AI. Kasi guys, eto pagdating kasi sa mga business, sa mga company, sa mga corporate, mga malaking kumpanya na wasi-wasi na yan, hindi yan nagsasubscribe sa $200, sa $20, sa $200 plan, hindi. Per API yan, and bibili rin sila ng integration na AI din. Kaya, malaki talaga yung magagastos nila. Hindi yan lang, 5,000 a month, hindi. Kaya, unless mas mura yung AI subscription mo or yung AI cost nila sa pagpapasahod talaga ng totoong tao, ayun, panalo talaga. And yung result, di ba, kung tama. Kasi kahit naman sobrang daming result ng AI, kung yung 90% ng mga pinag-ship ng AI is basura, wala naman talagang kwenta sa businesses. Wala, di ba? Pero ganoon din naman sa tao. Pero tingnan natin.
Well, depending on where you sit, on average, it's about $20 per user. But to a company, there's additional costs. There's cost of integration.
Di ba? Tangina. Nailed na naman natin, puta. Parang inuunahan lang natin si Doc Ligot eh. Again, di ko ito napapanood, guys, Nahula natin yung nagsasinasabi niya.
migration, there's cost of cleaning up your data. But I think the biggest gap is really skills, and it's not just prompting. I mean, you need skills on how to use AI to basically
Ngayon guys, hindi nyo na kailangan maging prompt engineer pag mag-AI kayo. Kasi matalino na talaga yung mga AI model ngayon. Para iintindihin yung kahit bulol-bulol yung prompt mo, alam na nila yan. Mas mahalaga ngayon yung workflow. Kung paano mo pagsasama-samahin yung mga AI agent, paano mo sila pagtatrabahuin ng sabay-sabay, mas mahalaga yun. And mas gusto ng mga AI company yun, syempre. Pag mas marami kang niraran na agent, mas marami kang token na makukonsume and mas madami silang pera.
really optimize your processes.
Yeah.
HR is another skills gap. Nowadays tasks are getting automated, jobs will change, and HR needs to step up and basically change the way you do AI.
Now, you also do AI training. Is there enough people around who
Curious lang ako, kaya ba palitan ng AI yung mga HR? Ano ba kasi ginagawa talaga ng HR, di ba, sa company? Nagpapasahod o nag-hire? Depende, di ba? Iba-iba pa nga yun eh. Kaya ba ng HR mang-gaslight ng employee? Kaya ba nila yun?
provide training for companies who uses it, for individuals who uses it, to be able for them to really understand how to use it as a tool for the right way.
I think by this time, when I started being noisy about AI in 2023, I was just one of a few. By this time, there's more than enough people, but they mostly focus on tool usage. Nowadays, I actually focus on leadership and design and planning, because after everyone starts using AI, that's actually the easy part. The harder part is how do you transform your business with these technologies.
Yes. Now, when we
Wait nga guys, na-curious lang ako eh. Sino ba to si Boss Ligot? Who is Doc Ligot? Tingnan nga natin. Ano ba siya? Bale, okay, blah, blah, blah. Dominic Doc Ligot is one of the leading voices in artificial intelligence. Okay. Pioneering AI ethics. Blah, 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 blah. He's the founder of Zero Latex. Sino to? Ano to? Wala. An award-winning social impact. Kasi, lagi ko to nakikita sa feed ko eh, si Dominic Boss Doc. And, lagi siya, actually, di naman siya, maganda yung sinasabi niya. Kaya, and di natin alam eh. Di natin siya kilala eh. Pero ngayon, kilala na kita, boss. Balik na tayo sa video.
When we talk about AI, we just, what we see is what we get, the basics.
Yep.
Doing the prompts when you use ChatGPT or other AI platforms, but it has evolved quite rapidly. Now we have agentic AI. Now, it doesn't just answer questions anymore. It acts on its own. It can book, it can buy, it can negotiate. Now, can you name the first Filipino job category that is quietly disappearing because of this new evolution in AI? And, the ones that
Gusto ko sana explain kung ano yung agentic coding kung di pa kaya aware. Pero sure ako i-explain ni Doc Ligot yan.
don't really see in the headlines right now.
Right. Well, ironically, and I mentioned this before, one of the jobs that's already getting disrupted is software developer.
Well, totoo naman.
Because many software development jobs is actually
Pero guys, hindi ibig sabihin disrupted Wala na kami trabaho. Ibig sabihin lang disrupted, parang malaki talaga yung changes na ginawa sa amin. Kasi totoo naman ito Di na ako mag-sugarcoat dito. Yung huli kong manual na nag-code ako, last 6 months pa, simula nung nag-codex ako guys, di na ako nagsulat manually ng code. Namimiss ko mag-manual code. Oo, namimiss ko. Pero gagawin ko. Hindi, kasi gusto ko agad ng output. Kaya kaya naghanap ako ng ibang channel ko pagdating sa ganun, sa mga sa mga yung pag-crave ko sa out. Time to time, nagsasagot ako ng mga simple code question. And hindi ko na chat GPT yun or ini-agentic coding yun, syempre, di ba? Nakakaya sa sarili ko. Pero disrupted talaga yung field namin. Siguro ako web dev kasi ako madalas sa web ako. Putik, kahit ka server i-connect mo yung cloud mo sa sa AWS CLI mo. Tignan mo. Hindi ko kayo niloloko. Kabisado ng mga agent, mga AI yan. And hindi na siya kataka-taka ito. Pag sinabi mo kasi disrupt, what is disruption? Hindi to mawawalan ng trabaho, hindi. Talagang disruption is a break or interruption in normal flow. Di ba? Ito yung trabaho ng mga software developer. Tapos ito yung AI. Warak, di ba? Kaya parang nasa abyss or parang magulo yung scene. Kaya yung mga software developer ngayon, at least mga web developer, mobile app developer, yung talagang tinamaan. Medyo ligaw kami. And hindi ko sinusugarcoat medyo ligaw. Actually, napag-isip-isip ko na nga na baka ito na yung time to jump ship na sa ibang industry or sa ibang platform. Siguro sa mga low level, hindi pa masyadong ganun na di-disrupt or sa mga sa mga old language like COBOL, ganun. Pero totoo, disrupted talaga yung mga yung software development, software engineering. Kaya yung mga nag-disagree kay Doc, naiintindihan ko, di ba? Masakit naman talaga, lalo na kapag yung personality mo, yung identity mo, nakabind talaga sa trabaho mo bilang software developer, programmer, software engineer. Mainis ka talaga, di ba? Kasi lalo na, neto mga last few years, alam ko, kumonti na sila yung mga programmer na in denial, na, ay, hindi, code lang yun, yan. Nagpo-produce pa ng mga basurang code yan, ganyan, blablabla. Pero ngayon hindi na Sobrang ganda na nung code na binibigay ng mga AI model, lalo ng mga frontier. Kasi sa work kasi, hindi ka naman pwede mag-model ng ron ng mga mas mababa sa mga flagship model nila. For example, sa work, ang ginagamit ko lagi, yung Claude 4.8. Sa mga personal ko naman, yung kundi 5.5, ngayon 5.6 na, may Sol na kasi, di ba? And binabayaran ng company ko yun, yung sa Claude. Ba't ako gagamit ng mga mas may ng model, yung Sonnet, di ba? Hindi na, yung 4.8 ang gagamitin ko, and pag may chance, Fable. Kaya, pero gets ko hindi ko sinasabi na gets ko sila, yung mga nag-bash dito kay Doc Pero gets ko rin yung kay Doc kasi naiintindihan ko siya. Play na nga natin.
Level code, debugging, software already getting disrupted is software developer. Because many software development jobs is actually quite templated, low-level code, debugging. Actually, AI can do that now.
You can do, yes, you can do coding right now. So yung talagang pinag-aralan na pinaghirapan ng isang
Medyo hindi ko lang gets sa low level Kasi basta, panoorin pa natin.
coder or system development person who went through, the
Computer
pains,
science.
computer science,
Yeah.
which before was really the go-to subject because malakas dati because of data analytics. So now you're seeing that as nawawala na yung
Well,
value.
It's transforming, and maybe a bit of nuance there. To train AI to write code, obviously they had to use code that was available on the internet. And I just have to say, most of that code is actually bad code. So most software development jobs, if you're still doing the templated type of code, AI will take that. But now you have to transition to software architect, code debugger. In fact, there's a long
Or manager. Most of the time, mag-a-approve ka na lang talaga ng code na pinagagawa ng mga AI Kaya tip ko sa inyo guys, pag magpapa-AI kayo ng mga project nyo, or gagamit kayo ng AI sa process nyo sa pagko-code, huwag nyong iwa-one shot lahat, yung buong picture. Huwag. Ang diskarte maganda dyan, ang paggawa nyo sa AI, maliliit lang Kahit madami, basta maliliit lang. Tapos lagi kayong dapat gumamit ng Git. Lagi kayong mag-check out sa ibang branch kada gawa ng AI. Para kontrolado nyo lahat. Kasi para kunyari, napakap nyo yung branch na yun. At least, ano yun, checkout branch lang yun. Pag-aralan nyo yung Git.
long-running meme, a lot of people are being hired to correct the code that AI wrote. But
Actually, eto na. Hindi na nangyayari yan eh. Kasi most of the time, yung code na ina-output ng mga flagship model, magaganda na talaga. Talagang production grade na.
more and more as these models get smarter, it's gonna get more efficient.
So may erode talaga at yung mga before once in these jobs that held a lot of value before, now parang
Yeah.
wala na. At the end of the day, all the hard work that they went through is thrown out the window.
I think as a rule, any job that is highly dependent on content, like you write stuff, you create images, if that's the only thing you do, you have to be ready for AI to take that. It's not unlike once upon a time we had a job called typist, if you remember. And then when word processing came about, wala nang
Pinag-aralan
typists.
natin sa college before, you have to type really fast.
Fast
Kung
and
hindi, you'll fail,
accuracy.
yes.
Pero ngayon, word processing does that. In the same manner, that there's that shift. But I'm sure most typists moved on to encoding. And ngayon, you don't even need to encode anymore. You just tell
Oo nga, di ba? Yung mga trabaho dati na napalitan ng technology, dinistrupt ng technology, nag-adapt sila tapos may bago ulit na industry na nabuo. Pero ngayon sa AI, iba eh. Kasi ang goal kasi ng mga AI company is AGI eh. And yung AGI guys, ang dami nagsasabi yung AGI na end ng innovation. Kasi once na-invento na ng mga coops yung AGI, yung mga AI na yung magdi-discover ng ng next innovation, next disruption na gagawin nila eh. Kumbaga, hindi na kailangan ng human mind para, kunyari, mag-invento ng panibagong branch ng science. Ito, example, nung inimbento nung na-discover or, sige na nga puta, nung na-invento ni Einstein yung theory of relativity. Sa theory of relativity na yun, madaming branch ng bagong science na nabuo. Di ba? Hanggang na gawa na ng Manhattan Project in nuclear. Pero yung foundation nun, step by step, di ba? Hindi naman from theory of relativity, napunta agad sa nuclear bomb eh. Hindi ganun, di ba? Maraming process gumitna doon. And, kunyari, yung na-split yung atom ba yun? Basta, ayun, napanood ko yun sa Oppenheimer eh. And doon na nagsimula, di ba? Doon na nila nalaman yung atomic, yung fission, di ba? Ganun. And, once na nagka-AGI, yung step-step na yon na yung tao yung need na makadiskubre ng mga branch ng science na ganun. Yung AGI na yung yung gagawa nun o magdi-discover nun. Sila na yun. And mas mabilis sila. Yung rate na yun, mas mabilis kaysa sa gagawin natin or ginagawa ng tao. Kaya nakakatakot siya. And di natin alam kung kumbaga, meron pa bang matitira sa ating mga tao para i-discover, para gawin trabaho. Kaya, kung ang next na usapin diyan, kaya kung ganun man, kung yung AGI makukuha nila yung lahat, kung sila na makaka-discover ng lahat, yung labor sila nagagawa, kung may humanoids na, ano nang para sa atin? Kaya yung sinabi ni Elon Musk, yung income bill ba yun? Basta yung universal income. Ito. Bali sinasabi niya dito, since yung mga AI na yung gagawa ng trabaho para sa atin, magkakaroon na tayo ng income, pangkain, diba, panggastos, ganun. And, di ba, parang ngayon di pa siya kapanipaniwala. And, hindi ko rin naman sinasabi na magkakatotoo to. Pero tingnan natin. Makinig tayo, baka may sagot si Doc.
tell AI, write me an essay, 800 words about blank. Wala na, nandun na.
Yeah, and you can actually have a conversation with AI right now. You don't have to type anything on the keyboard.
Yeah. Pero I think you mentioned agentic. That's an
Yeah.
interesting change. I think somewhere end of 2024, 2025, we saw that shift. Up until that time, generative AI, which is the broader category, was really just content. You know, give me an essay, give me an image, or ask a question. And it already gradually took over what Google search was doing. Agentic is more process oriented, no? Because AI can now prompt itself. I think that was the hack.
Yeah.
And by this time, it's all puro agentic na yung pinag-uusapan.
Now, you've called out a widening gap today between how much Filipinos use AI and how unprepared our institutions are to govern it, not only to govern it, but also the education part of it. Now, when that gap breaks, who absorbs the damage first? The worker, the consumer, or the state?
Well, here's the thing. We don't have any regulation that targets AI. Although you could look at several laws that could be implicated, like cybercrime, privacy, the labor code, intellectual property code. In fact, as we speak now, Congress is meeting to deliberate on our first AI bill. It's probably going to take a few more, rounds before that bill gets finalized. So the challenge there is, if there's any abuse or anyone gets hurt, who do you run to? And right now, you go to the police, you go to NBI, they barely have any basis, to file any charges or, to bring people to court. And that's a big gap. And then on the flip side, if we focus too much on penalties and, liabilities, we may end up over-regulating AI and we won't innovate anymore. And that's also another.
Tama. Agree ako dun. Kumbaga, dapat kung mag-regulate tayo ng technology kagaya ng ganito. Kasi sobrang bilis ng advancement ng AI eh. Kumbaga, kung gagawa natin ng batas yung mga AI, dapat kahit papano, hindi natin kokoberan yung advancement na yun eh. Kumbaga, ibig sabihin ko lang, hindi dapat natin masyadong kino-close. For example, dapat may limit yung gato paggamit yun ng AI, blah, 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 ganun. Tama, di ba? Bigyan ng regulation, bigyan ng limits. Like, di ba? Child porn, di ba? Mga pedophile, bawal yan dapat. Or, pag-generate sa mga sexual stuff, bawal. Pero, yung sa ibang bagay, ito, medyo hindi ako agree dito. Kunyari, hindi nyo mapapa-agentic coding related sa torrent, yung mga AI model. Siguro, syempre, piracy. And, yung torrent itself, technology yun. And may mga project ako dating gustong gawin. Gamit yung technology na yun. Pero ayaw talaga. Baka may ma-invento ako malupit sa technology, sa torrent technology, di ba? Magbe-base ako sa torrent technology. Sayang, di ba? Ayun yung point ko. Baka maka-invento ako ng time machine. Pero di ba, ganun lang.
Also another challenge.
But let's also talk about ethics. As Director for AI Ethics and Data Governance, now what's one AI ethics violation you've already seen happening inside Philippine companies that nobody's calling out yet?
Well, okay, there's top 3 in companies. There's this thing called shadow AI. It's a subset of shadow IT. It's an interesting term. This is AI technology that people use without approval. Because normally you have an IT department, they govern everything. But AI is just so simple to use, so easy, that people end up using it anyway without any guidelines. There's also usually not many companies who have AI policies. So that's the second thing we need to address. And then there's this term in the
Hindi ko na-gets yun. Shadow. Ito yung unsupervised paggamit ng AI sa mga companies. Lalo na yung mga companies na ayaw mag-adapt ng AI. Tapos gumagamit yung mga employee nila, okay. Normal.
term in the AI safety community called human in the loop.
Yeah.
Because it's so tempting to just let AI do everything.
Yeah.
You forget that it has, the liability there goes back to the user. You can't
Ito nga yun, kaya ang sinasabi ko, hindi na uso prompt engineering. Ang uso na ngayon, yung paggawa ng sarili mong AI workflow and pag-setup ng harness ng AI mo para hindi siya gumawa ng mga action na pagsisisihan mo. Diba? Dapat, ayun yung sinesetup eh. Kumbaga, kunyari, may may part yung code base mo na dapat wala talaga makakagalaw doon kahit sino, kahit AI. And bibigyan mo ng harness, bibigyan mo ng protection, yung part ng source code na yun harness nga tawag doon. At ayun talaga yung ginagawa, lalo na yung mga software developer dyan.
You can't blame AI for writing something bad. And
Diba? Di mo masisisi yung AI. Kasi literal black box yung mga yan eh. Kumbaga, pag may ginawa yan, kahit hindi mo inutos, pero ayun yung parang sa tingin nila pinaka-the best na next step. Kasi ayun yung LLM eh. Yung mga large language model eh. Magaling mag-predict ng next step yan eh, ng next token. Mr. Obvious. I-predict nila yung next token. Kaya nga yun yung binabayaran natin tokens eh.
The penalties are, intellectual property violations, privacy violations. There could be identity theft, deepfakes. All of this is pretty much out there
But right
already.
now, is there a
Ayun yung gusto kong malaman para lang sa research purposes kung paano gine-jailbreak o binabypass ng mga ibang tao para pagamitin sa mga ganun yung mga AI. Kasi kahit anong gawin ko skill issue lang alam ko. Pero sure ako may ginagawa sila dyan kaya nila napapagawa yung mga AI ng mga ganyang bagay.
Is there a governing body that really looks into the ethics, the usage ethics of AI right now that can strictly implement and show, this is the proper way to use AI? Because there are, different industries. Let's say even the media industry, we are governed
Wala.
by journalism ethics.
Right.
That's strictly implemented also. So in AI, can this be done, or is it already being done today?
That's part of the conversation along the AI regulation. Should it be under DICT, DOST? And at the moment, there's no strict AI body that can govern. Unlike, kunyari,
Wala talaga. Ano yan same yan sa yung sobrang bilis talaga mag-advance ng technology, ang hirap yan May tawag dun sobrang bilis ng technology, hindi mo agad mabibigyan ng legislative ganun. And mahuhuli talaga yung mga gobyerno. Kaya nga ang dapat na gawin ng mga gobyerno, gumawa ng batas na parang harness siya. Hindi mo babatasan mismo yung technology. Kumbaga poprotektahan mo kung ano yung pwede nilang magawa masama. Ganun.
kunyari, telco NTC has it or privacy NPC has it. So eventually there probably will be one. But for now, a lot of it depends on self-regulation, self-monitoring. And again, if you don't have any rules, some people don't want to do anything until rules are out there. But
Because
most
a lo-
people
yeah.
will just do whatever they want.
Because a lot of the businesses right now, they don't even have an AI ethics policy right now embedded in the company now. So what's the actual cost of skipping that? And is it a real business risk or just something regulators will eventually force in the future?
Many of the AI risks seem counterintuitive. Like for example, in intellectual property, you could accidentally, without intending it, violate IP by asking AI to, give me a picture, a poster, not realizing it looks very similar to an existing poster, because that's probably how AI, was trained.
Yes.
And right now, if you don't have that instinct to, just take the due diligence, check if this media already exists out there, then that's a challenge. And then counter to that is plagiarism. Schools are worried about it, journalists are worried about it. That exact sentence that AI wrote would have been a rip-off from some other book
True.
or literature
That's really
that you don't know.
We still have a long, long road ahead in terms of ethics. But Doc, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll look at how businesses and workers can keep up with AI and stay ahead.
Paano kaya yun, no? Kumbaga, hindi mo naman talaga intensyon kopyahin yung, kunyari sa art. Nagpa-generate ka ng art, tapos yung art na generate ng AI is hindi naman talaga exactly nung art na yon, pero yung elements nandun. Pero AI gumawa Pati, sino ba talaga yung gumawa nun? Yung AI ba o ikaw? Ayan yung mga tanong sa mga ethics tungkol sa AI And, ano ba talaga yung form ng originality? Gumawa ka ng novel, pinagawa mo yung AI mo ng novel. And yung novel na yun, kumuha yung AI mo ng parang inspirasyon sa iba-ibang novel, part by part. Pero nakabuo siya ng kwento. Paano yun, di ba? Plagiarism ba yun? Innovation? Ano ba yun? Pinapaisip tayo na ito.
Ahead, not get left behind. Don't go away. Keep following the money.
Yeah, I'm following the money. Thank you. I'm following that money. Ang ganda naman no?
Welcome back to Follow the Money. We're back with AI expert Dominic Doc Ligot to talk about what it will
Dominic
take for
Doc
Philippine
fucking
businesses and
Ligot.
workers to thrive in the age of agentic AI. Now,
Galit
Doc,
yung aso.
if a mid-sized Philippine company hands you 1 year and 1 hire to build real AI capability, what's the actual first move you will do? Not the LinkedIn post answer.
Absolutely. So the first is always awareness and upskilling. I think one thing that AI probably bucks in terms of traditional IT trend. Usually when you get an IT system, you kind of know what to do with it already. However, AI is what we call general purpose. You don't know what it can do until people probably use it. So for me, that would be the best first step. Give everyone a subscription or as much as your budget will allow, and then observe how they're using it. And then
Ano daw? Literal na parang ano eh, no? Nag-alaga ka ng anaconda from ano, itlog. Tapos maliit na ano pa lang siya, anaconda. Tapos pinapakain mo siya. Eh, hunter ka. Nakakatulong yung anaconda sa'yo mang-hunt ng ano, baboy, manok. Pero habang pinapalaki mo siya, diba, may possibility na kainin ka ng anaconda mo. Diba? Ganun yung AI.
And then on the flip side, once you see what use cases that are being put in place, then you start investing on the infrastructure. And then you mentioned earlier, don't forget the policy.
Yes.
These should all be simultaneously explored.
Ang maganda rin kasi sa AI, once na nakakabisado niya na yung workflow ng isang kumpanya, gagaling na siya ron eh. Tapos, mas titipid siya sa token kapag mas kabisado niya na yung ginagawa niyo. Kasi typical naman guys, sa isang kumpanya, experience ko to 5 years pa lang naman nagtatrabaho sa mga startup and corporate. Ano eh, di ba, sa mga empleyado dyan, parang nakakabisado niyo yung typical niyo araw-araw na ginagawa niyo sa kumpanya niyo. And ganun din sa AI. And mas habang gumagaling siya ron sa routine na yun, mas tumitipid siya and ayun. Kaya ganun din siya. Para tao talaga siya, di ba?
Because if you don't want to wait for a crisis to occur before you start putting rules,
Yes.
and then later you don't even know how far your liabilities will go. So those three things, upskilling, infra, and policy should happen.
Because yes, it's ever changing as well. Now, let's go back to your research, Doc. Your paper describes a power curve paradigm. Now, saying that AI gains flowing disproportionately to some workers, not all, inside the Philippine office. Now, right now, who's already on the winning side and who is getting left behind?
Okay,
Feel ko guys, tapos na dito yung issue sa Facebook post. Kung tapos na eh. And mukhang pag-uusapan nila yung paper dito. Kung hindi ka na interesado dun sa issue I mean, kung hindi ka na interesado rito sa paper ni Doc, sige na, pwede ka na lumayas. Pero kung gusto mo matuto, kasi sure ako may matututunan tayo dito eh. Yeah. Welcome ka naman, samahan mo ako mag-ano tayo. Aralin natin kung ano yung paper ni Doc. Pakinggan natin. Kaya, ayun, balik ka na lang sa next video kung nakuha mo na yung satisfaction mo sa chismis.
I think there's two extremes. One extreme are obviously the large companies who have tremendous budgets, but their challenge is integration because they're large, they move slowly, they may be able to pay the IT bill, but using it is quite a challenge. On the opposite extreme, you have the smaller, more nimble companies, individuals. They can adapt quickly. Their challenge is scale. And of course, I'm sure everyone has their favorite AI tool. You know, it's not just ChatGPT anymore. From an individual standpoint, that can work because I'll use Claude for this, I'll use DeepSeek for that. But when you go to a company, having all these multiple agents will be a nightmare from an integration standpoint. So you normally, like one popular tool now is Microsoft Copilot because you want to standardize everything there.
Who the fuck uses Copilot, huh? No fucking one. Fuck Windows.
But obviously, a lot of people prefer not to use Copilot and they want to use something.
Yeah! Doc fucking knows it. Walang gumagamit ng Copilot. Wala.
else. So I think those are the challenges for large,
Yeah.
very different from the challenges for the small.
But also one
Oh, pinipilit yan ng mga malaking company yung Copilot eh. Kasi bundled na siguro sa mga Windows subscription nila eh. Kaya pinapakain lagi nila yun eh. Gumamit kayo, Claude, ChatGPT. Ay, ang gamitin nyo. Gemini. The best yan. O, sige na, DeepSeek, Kimi, Moonshot. Huwag lang Copilot. Fuck Copilot.
challenges whenever new technology arrives, when companies try to adopt it, they always look at ROI.
Right.
You know, especially now, AI is very expensive, even for an individual to, let's say, upgrade from the free version to a more, capable
paid version.
version. It
Yeah.
will set you back about $20 as an individual. But for a company who will really use this on scale, it's very expensive. So how do they look at that in terms of ROI? And do you think it can really work
Hindi, wala silang pake. Gastos lang. Kasi ililay off naman nila yung mga empleyado nila eh.
on the upside for the companies to really lower the operating costs?
Yeah, the usual first approach I see everywhere is AI is seen
Naano nyo na ba yung sa Meta? Yung issue sa Meta. Sobrang daming token na burn ng mga empleyado ng Meta. Meta. Employee. Token. Consumption. Oh. So, Meta employees consume a record-breaking 73.7 trillion AI tokens in single 30-day window. This is token vaccine! Yan. So, approximately 221 million a month yung nagastos nila or 2 billion annually. Ilan ba yung nilayoff ng Meta? Meta layoff software. Tingnan natin ah. Meta recently cut roughly 10% of workforce, like 8,000 employees globally. The company is aggressive. Wala tayong makita eh. Kung ano ba mas tipid, di ba? Kung mag-hire ba ng maraming software developer o software engineer o gumastos ng 2.65 billion sa isang taon. Tingnan natin. Sabihin natin 120k USD yung sahod ng mga Meta employee. Ano ba to? Ito yung how many zeros. Yan. Paste natin. Tapos, divided by 100. Ay, di. 120. Ano lang to estimate lang to Huwag kayong magalit sa akin na 20,000 USD. 22,000 employee.
is seen as a cost reduction challenge. I'll pay $20. How many headcount can I remove? Call a spade a spade. The usual first approach I see everywhere is AI is seen as a cost reduction challenge. I'll pay $20. How many headcount can I remove? Call a
Kaso nga lang, hindi nga lang $20 yung nakukonsume ng mga company. Hindi yan personal eh. Di ba? Ayan yung challenge dun eh. Kumbaga, kung $20 lang talaga per employee, panalo talaga. Panalo yung mga company. Kaso hindi eh.
reduction challenge. I'll pay $20. How many headcount can I remove? Call a spade a spade. But doing more with less is, I think, the ideal scenario. You can have same output, less headcount,
Diba? Yung point natin kanina sa simula.
same headcount, more output.
Yeah.
I think there's a wide, I would say, from a financial standpoint, wide, spectrum of possibilities. But then if you look internally, even without the financial component, are you able to go to market faster? Are you able to train your people better? I mean, those are kind of the non-financial
Oo, tama. Legit naman. Kumbaga, kung may naisip kang business ngayon, ito for example, software developer ka, may naisip kang business ngayon, and bigyan ko kayong idea kung paano gumagana yung mga startup. Kapag may idea ka kasi, tapos gusto mo siyang ilabas sa market, dapat may MVP ka or yung minimum viable product. Oo, tama. Yung MVP na yun, dapat magawa mo siya as fast as possible. ASAP siya. And yung MVP, hindi naman dapat kompleto na agad yung feature eh. Basta, kung ano yung pinaka-core feature ng idea mo, kunyari, gusto mo gumawa ng photo app na pero ang output pa star. Dapat sa MVP mo, nandun yun. Pero yung filters, yung payment, subscription, kahit wala pa yon sa MVP mo. And nung wala pang AI, ang ginagawa ng mga non-technical founder, nag-hire sila ng dev team or ng mga freelance dev. Tapos doon nila ginagawa MVP tapos siniship nila sa market. And hindi yun, kumbaga, hindi siya ganun kabilis. Tatagal din siya ng mga 2 weeks, 1 month, ganun, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. Pero ngayon may AI na, kaya mo siyang ipa-one shot yung MVP mo. Kasi MVP lang naman eh. 'Di ba? Kung ano yung naisip mong sa core picture ng gusto mong gawing app, tapos ipakain mo sa AI, magagawa ng AI yun, guys. In one shot, like, wala pang 1 hour. Masiship mo na MVP mo. Ayun yung game changer.
Non-financial benefits that if AI is used properly, you can get
O, kung may kwenta yung MVP mo, kikita ka ron, di ba? Mabilis. Makakuha agad ng investor o user.
to that level of efficiency.
Now, when you talk about using AI properly and also teaching AI ethics, do you also subscribe? Because even the Pope saw some fear in this, very strong words saying, we should disarm AI. What do you mean?
O, sinabi ni Pope yan. Yung, nagpa-press con siya sa Pope Leo, nagpa-press con siya sa, sa Vatican. Tapos nandito yung Anthropic eh. Siguro sa ibang video pero maganda naman, sipat na to. Ayun. Alam ni Pope kung sinong nasa likod ng mga AI na yan.
What do you mean by that? When you heard about that and teaching AI, do you subscribe to it? And what do you think are the dangers if it's not properly regulated and teaching the proper use and ethics of AI today?
I think many people interpreted the Pope as being anti-AI, but if you look deeper at the implication, he's not
Hindi siya antay
anti-AI, he's anti-bad use of AI. And even the term AI
Kasi guys, ang pinaka ginagawa talaga ng Roman Catholic ngayon is to modernize eh. Kung nakikita nyo, kung napapansin nyo lang yung mga galaw ng Vatican, to relate sa younger gen eh. To become modern. Kasi, alam naman natin, sobrang di ba, yung Roman Catholic, yung Vatican, sila eh, yung parang prestige nila nasa old, like, panahon pa ni Jesus Christ, di ba, yung mga ganun. Matagal na yun. Kumbaga, yung iba sa teaching ng mga yun is minsan din na nag-work sa modern world. Syempre, mamamatay yun. Di ba? Kumbaga, hihina sila pag hindi sila sasabay sa modernong ginagalawan natin ngayon. Kaya isa yun, yung way na ipakita si Pope Leo. Alam ni Pope Leo kasi modern talaga. Diba si Pope Francis, modern siya pagdating sa gender equality. Ngayon si Pope Leo, since yung mga frontier AI models is nasa USA and Amerikano si Pope Leo, well, matik yun. Magsasalita siya ron sa mga AI na yan. Kasi ito pa, yung pagdating kasi sa, hindi to factual elite ball knowledge lang to. Ang AI talaga kasi nare-relate siya sa Antichrist eh. Hindi yan hindi ako nag-invento. Marami nagre-relate ng AI Antichrist 666 mga ganun. And ayun yung iniiwasan ni Pope Leo, yung mga ganyan. And hindi na katakataka.
AI ethics, I think, is a bit of a misnomer because AI is just a tool. Ethics is a human trait. So we're really addressing here are the users of it. So that includes the policies, the regulation. But I think the outcomes also need to be looked at. What are you really getting into AI for? Assuming you're not buying the hype. Are you there for more productivity, more returns? And ultimately, I think I read in another article somewhere, if we use this properly, it can end up uplifting humanity from the drudgery, no? Pero yun na nga, it's easier said than done.
Yeah, but also the fear of that also is like taking the human factor, the decision making when AI is being used.
Once upon a time, when we moved, this is long before we were born, no? When we moved from horses to cars, there were all these weird regulations about a car. One of those weird regulations is you should always have one person with you when you drive. because it can affect your mental health if you're driving alone. I mean, nowadays, a lot of people drive on their own. And I think that was born out of, because it's a new technology, you don't know how it's going to affect you. You can only infer. I think we're in the similar boat now with AI. We're still exploring the extent of it. And the fact that it's moving very fast, I think that's what's throwing a lot of us
So
off.
do you think the mindset never changes, that whenever something changes, there's always fear of change?
There's fear, there's resistance, and let's face it. Remember, typists feared the word processor once upon a time, and then until
But we
they
hurdled
realized-
through it.
Yeah, they transformed. I think we have to also find that hump and hurdle it, because there are net more jobs now than there were ever typists after the word processor. So that's also another thing to think about. There will be new jobs. We don't know what they might look like. I think we're seeing a little bit of it now. It's about how AI will augment your current your tasks or your career.
Now, Doc, in anything that we do, we always look at habits, doing the good habits. And
Pero di ba kung marirealize nyo, yung mga sinasabi nilang yung technology, takot lang tayo sa una, di ba, mga ganun-ganun. Kasi papalitan yung trabaho mo. Pero kung yung mga example nila, yung typist, yung kabayo, lahat yun physical eh. Di ba, pansin nyo ba? Or paulit-ulit yung trabaho nila, sige. Pero, eto kasing AI, yung nireplicate ito yung utak natin kung paano tayo mag-isip, kung paano. Kaya ibang bagay siya eh. Ito para sa akin hindi ako nagdi-disagree kay Doc. Bubulol-bulol pa ako. Ulit, di ako nagdi-disagree kay Doc Maganda rin yung example niya para maintindihan ng madla kung wag silang matakot masyado. Pero iba to iba yung AI hindi siya yung typist lang na pinalitan ng word processor. Utak talaga to na kaya mag-isip na mas matalino pa sa'yo. Kumbaga, paano yun? Di ba? Hindi ko rin alam kung may kung may trabaho pa ba tayo pag nag-AGI na to o mas tumalino pa to kahit konti. Mapasasalpak na nga to sa mga humanoids, di ba? Yung ginagawa ni Elon Musk. Paano kung magkaroon ng frontier model sa mga humanoids na yun? Putik. Ewan lang natin.
and taking away the bad habits. Now, what's one AI habit that you've adopted personally that most professionals still right now in this country aren't doing and are worse off by not subscribing to that kind of habit?
Approach. Yeah. The biggest behavioral change I'm seeing now is you're shifting from execution to orchestration. Execution is how traditionally we valued ourselves, your ability to do something. But now more and more domains, you are actually managing AI to do whatever you used to do. So that involves a lot of new things that you have to think about. Are you checking the output? Are you imbuing the AI with your thought process? Which is simply prompting, but in different forms.
And also proper vetting.
Vetting, yes. And part of it also involves using AI to check the output of AI. It sounds very counterintuitive, but very few people actually go to that extent.
But do you think there's not enough education in terms of AI literacy because when you use AI, the proper prompting, how to really use it properly, and don't just the first thing that AI turns out, you have to vet,
Don't
keep on
believe
vet,
it.
yes.
No, we have no literacy program for AI. There's pockets of training. And usually when you go to universities, I was, for example, in a show lately with the president of the UP. When they say AI training, it's highly specialized stuff. Data scientists, AI engineers, certainly we need those. But then we also need this mass literacy campaign for everyone who's using digital technologies. Similar to computer literacy, right? We had that, or MS Office literacy. We need AI literacy as well.
Now, when AI came out, ChatGPT was the first one on the ground.
Actually, ang ganda ng tanungan ng host Talagang kumbaga siya yung nag-i-interpret ng mga tanong ng tao. Medyo high nga lang. Like, hindi siya sobrang high level. May alam din siya Pero ayun yung mga tanong ng tao na hindi lang ma-articulate ng iba.
Ground. Now, there's so many AI platforms around. You have Claude, but you have DeepSeek now, which has proved that a fraction of the budget can actually produce a frontier-class model.
Check niyo yung Kimi, tapos pa siya. Yung bagong release ng Kimi ngayon. Yung Kimi K3. Kasing lakas daw ng Fable ito Pero sa price, ganun din, pareho lang. Pero mas tipid sila sa token. Lakas to. Kasing lakas ng Fable.
Model now. Does that open the door for a Filipino AI company who's just starting to actually compete globally? Or is this still wishful thinking on our part? Are we still on that infancy stage and we're still relying on what's being
We're just a baby! Pero, supportahan natin yan pag meron. Alam ko sa UP, gumagawa sila eh.
provided by those outside?
Yeah, the monopoly of California in AI has been broken by China. But I think one thing we have to remember is China also invested in infrastructure on their own. They have data centers, they have GPUs, and that's why Taiwan is a high.
Ito, alam ko mahaba na yung video eh. 1 oras na tatato eh. Ayun yung reason kung bakit may paksili ka. Kasi di ba, mainit din yung paksili ka eh. Yung goal talaga ng Amerika dyan is hindi matuloy or mabawasan yung upcoming dominance ng China pagdating sa compute ng AI. Kasi isa sa mga pinaka core components ng mga chips na kailangan sa mga advanced AI chips para magawa yung mga AI model nila, papagana pala, sorry, is yung rare earth. And pagdating sa mining and processing ng mga rare earth na yon, almost 95 to 97% ata is dinodominate ng China. And big deal yun. And ginawa yung Paxilica para, ayun, mabawasan yung dependency sa China pagdating sa rare earth mining and processing. Pati mapigilan yung upcoming dominance ng China eh. Since gumagawa na rin sila ng mga frontier model, di ba? Actually, yung bottleneck na lang talaga, yung design na lang talaga ng mga chips eh. And yung China, hindi rin sila makapag-produce ng mga super liit na, yung like 2 nanometer, 3 nanometer. Alam ko, ano ba pinaka-latest na China smallest 0.7, ito 0.5. Nakagawa na sila, nakapag-mass produce na sila ng 5 nanometer. Pero alam nyo ba sa TSMC or Samsung, nakaka 2M na sila ng mga class chips eh. And ayan, kaya nagsama-sama yung bansa sa Paxilica, isa yung reason yung para mabawasan dominance ng China.
Is a highly contested territory. So, removing that hurdle, nothing stops the Philippines.
Pero madalas, nai-issue yung mga Chinese model sa distillation. Search niyan, distillation. Kumbaga, imbis na mag-train sila ng sarili nilang mga AI models, ang ginagawa nila, dinidistill nila yung mga AI models na meron yung mga American frontier models. Medyo madaya siya, pero hindi siya illegal actually. Ang ginagawa na lang ng ChatGPT, OpenAI, Anthropic sa mga ganyan. Binablock na lang nila yung mga Chinese accounts. Siyempre, di ba? Putik, ang hirap mag-train ng ang gastos mag-train ng AI models tapos i-distill lang na itong mga to. Diba? Lugi!
Philippines from moving forward in sovereign AI, as we call it.
And be part of the process.
Right,
And,
but we need to think about the infra part. There's rarely any conversation about infra.
True. Okay, now, Doc, let's move now to the rapid fire segment of this program. Let's start with this. Is the Philippines actually behind AI or just behind in admitting how behind it is?
We're behind in infra, but we're ahead in terms of awareness.
Really?
And search.
Awareness daw.
We're number one. Remember, we're also number one in social.
Diba, consumer tayo.
But we still need more education.
Oh, certainly, yeah.
Now, one Filipino
Yeah! Kaya mag-subscribe kayo sa lahat ng channel ko. YouTube, TikTok. Bibigyan ko kayo ng awareness ng AI for free.
company doing AI right, no PR spin, no client-safe answer. Which one today?
I struggle to think about it. I'd probably say it's probably in the medium-sized segment. People who have actually adopted it and are paying for subscriptions. Even large companies don't want to pay, and I think that's a big blind spot.
Yeah, true. Okay, ChatGPT or Claude?
I think for coding, it's Claude.
Joke lang. Actually, parehas lang naman eh. Kumbaga, na-reach na nila yung ceiling. Pareho na sila ng ganun output eh. Na binibigay lalo na sa mga pinaka-frontier na nilang model. Nagkakatalo na lang talaga dito sa presyo.
But I'm still with ChatGPT for pretty much other things. I think the lesson there is don't get married to one. Use certain AI for certain tasks and then find another AI to bring them
Nako, Doc, masama yun. Isa lang dapat papakasalan mo. Anong don't marry to one? Di ka loyal, Doc.
all together.
Different ways of using
AI.
Each platform, do you think, has its own, let's say, strong points?
Yes, depending on, for example, in coding, you need, the reason why Claude is ahead is it checks itself very, very well. Another AI tool I like is Notebook, LM, that's under Gemini.
Yeah, but those two are married together.
Right,
Yeah.
you just dump 50
Yeah.
books and it will give you all the references. I mean, from a research
Yeah.
standpoint, that's
That's
fantastic.
good. Now, would you personally trust DeepSeek with sensitive?
Ganda ng tanungan, di ba? Since, mainit tayo sa China, di ba? Kumbaga literal, pag nagtatapong ka ng data sa DeepSeek, diretso na yan kaya na, boss. Diretso na yan sa mga Chinese friends natin.
Data? You were mentioning that
Dapat siguro sa gobyerno, bawal yan eh. Meron ng executive order si Boss BBM. Ayan, ano na yan. May igpit na yung mga government data. Pag-usapan natin yan sa TikTok we upload.
there's no privacy in the free stuff.
Yeah, if you're using DeepSeek for, I think, general purposes,
Oh, yeah.
I think it's one of the best, even coding. But don't use it for anything related to China.
Okay.
It's been known to censor Chinese related queries.
Okay, what's the AI myth Filipino executives repeat most that's flat out wrong today?
I think the cliche is AI won't take your job. It's person using AI that will take your job. That's only partly true. The reality is it's HR that will take your
You
job.
can't escape it talaga.
Yeah.
Okay. And finally, Doc, before we go, if there's one thing every Filipino watching should do with AI starting tomorrow, what would it be?
Check the output. You know, AI is so easy to use, but it's so easy to let it run your life. Don't let it run your life.
Okay, on that note, thank you very
Check your output and create harness.
much, Doc, for joining us this morning, sharing your insights, and of course, the advocacy and teaching AI ethics. We really need that today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you sa host. Ganda, lupit ng host. Ayun guys, ang haba ng video. Tanginang umabot tayo isang oras. Pero ang dami ko natutunan. Solid talaga manood ng mga gantong interview sa mga expert. Ayun guys, siguro naman nasabi ko na lahat ng gusto kong sabihin dito. And nag-react lang naman tayo. And masaya, ang dami ko natutunan. Daming naturo ni boss. And na-share ko rin yung mga yap na gusto kong sabihin sa inyo. Ayun lang guys, siguro hanggang dito na lang yung video natin. Kung bago ka sa channel ko, sana mag-subscribe ka. Kung umabot ka man, feel ko umalis ka na around 3 minutes. Pero kung nag-stay ka hanggang dito sa dulo, maraming salamat. And follow nyo ako sa TikTok. Nag-upload din ako ng mga tech news dyan. Katulad ng mga ganitong... Ay, hindi pala. Basta mga short, syempre TikTok. Nag-upload ako ng mga shorts dyan about sa tech news sa Pilipinas and sa buong mundo. And huwag nyo kalimutan mag-subscribe, like. Ayun guys! See you sa next video. Bye!